Hi, everybody. Have you ever been scammed by a fake medium or psychic? I'm Peaceful Nick the Medium, joined by the extraordinary and wonderful medium, Kathy Behrens. Hello, Kathy. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. It's Friday. I love it. A beautiful day. So, yes, thank you guys for joining us. This is a hot topic right now, isn't it?
This is a very hot topic. I am so excited to talk about it. Please put your questions, your stories in the chat, like, share, and subscribe. They have adjusted the algorithms everywhere. So the more interaction, the better. We appreciate it. We're streaming on YouTube and Facebook on both of our pages. So welcome in, everybody. We are happy you are here. Lots of unethical stuff going out. I want to say Kathy and I have both been trained and developed and certified as mediums. So we're the real deal, I would say. Kathy?
Well, yes, because we did the work. We do the work. We continue to do the work. And
Yes.
You'll see nowadays it's so easy for anyone to go onto one of these social media sites and say, I'm a psychic medium, pay me some money and I'm going to tell you. And no development, no discernment, no ethics, no education, nothing. And that could be very damaging. It can be very damaging to somebody who is in deep grief, who is seeking answers, right?
Absolutely. I agree 1,000,000%. And I want to say hi to everybody because there's a lot of people popping on and a lot of people commenting. I want to start at the top. A girl who loves penguins. Hello. Carol. Hello. Vivian. Hello. Miss Mandy. Hello. True Colors. Mangled is here and she's putting both of our links in the comments. So thank you so much, Jax. And Ray True Colors, Gina, Lori, Missy, Birdie Mom, hello, Diana, hello, and Sandy and Lee and Donna, hello. Oh, thank you, Ray. Okay, so we are going to talk about some stories and some things to look out for. Dawn, Carrie, hello. We're going to talk about some stories, some things we've experienced, some unethical things. I'm trying to be nice.
Yes.
But there's some stuff out there. There's some stuff out there. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Lee. And we want to help people understand that there are real mediums and there are real psychics, and there are people who took a weekend seminar and then started a TikTok channel, and maybe not the healthiest. So, Kathy, what would you like to start with?
Well, I think maybe we should just start out with what is the purpose of mediumship? What is the purpose? Because these, I'm going to just say fly by night, people that pop up on these social media sites, do they really even understand what the purpose of mediumship? And for me, and I'm sure you will agree and you may want to add something, but to me, the purpose of mediumship is to validate that this life goes on after this physical life.
Yes.
And that comes with providing evidence that pertains to the here, to the now, to include like personality, your current events, shared memories. If you watch these psychic mediums that pop up on social media, they're just throwing stuff out there, seeing what sticks, and not really elaborating. And I'm going to give you an example because I've been watching all day. You have a J name around you. And somebody will say, well, my uncle's name is John. Yep, there you go. Well, what does that mean?
Right.
There's no evidence behind that. It's just filling their ego like, I guessed right. So the purpose of mediumship really is to validate for you that your loved ones in spirit are very much alive. And they see and know and understand everything that's happening here in the physical world. But do you want to add to that, Nicole?
I agree a million billion percent. And I know that's not a percent, but I agree completely. And I want to give an example. Okay. I was doing a reading recently, and the Father in Spirit showed me a star and stars and kept talking about stars and stars and stars. And she's like, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not getting it. And then I have the Star Tarot card on my wall, and everybody knows the Star Tarot card has a big star and a bunch of stars around it. And sorry if I made anybody dizzy moving the camera. And I go, he's telling me to show you that. And she goes, oh my God, I have a tattoo on my foot with a big star and a bunch of stars around it. Now that is a validation. You know, the reading was kind of dragging up to that point because she's like, I don't get it. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. But when I showed her that picture and it was the same as the tattoo on her foot, she goes, but what does that have to do with him? And I'm like, it doesn't. It's him saying, I can see that tattoo on your foot. And this lady on the internet who's Zooming with you would have no way to know that you have that. And so that is evidence. It's not a J name or you have a grandma in spirit that loves you or anything vague. And those things may be true. The John may be true and the grandma that loves you, but you need specific evidence to prove life goes on beyond the earthly realm. And for healing, a big part, and you know, Kathy, a big part of mediumship is helping people heal, start or continue their healing journey. That's why people get readings.
That's what when I say, what is mediumship? What's the purpose of mediumship? And I always like to tell my clients, it's just a tool in your toolbox of healing, right? So we're not to be, now here's another thing. I witnessed a reader on TikTok give this woman 3 readings in a row. And I thought, this is not ethical. This is not helpful for the sitter. This is not helpful for this person. And mind you, this reader was just rambling. Oh, you're 8. Are you around 30 years old? I feel like your mom is like 60. I feel like there's you're connected to Florida. You know, just random things. I have some more, but we'll get to it.
We'll get to all the stories for sure. Yeah. And we have a question in the chat, but we also have some hellos. We have Carrie saying hello. Lee, hello. She said, thanks for doing this. A girl who loves penguins said, glad to see you both here together. 2 of my favorite people. We love doing lives and events together. So thank you. Abby said, hi, Kathy and Nick. And both of you have validated mine. I completely agree. And we appreciate that. And Mandy says, this is one of my favorite things. I just have to laugh. I once liked a medium's page and then got a DM from them telling me they had a special message for me from a loved one. I can't help but laugh because I've gotten them from my own fake page.
Yeah.
People copy my page and send me a DM. So it's awesome. I didn't respond, but wanted to know if that was a real message or from spirit or scam.
So, yeah, and I think we've probably preached this enough that people understand that legitimate professional psychic mediums are not out there DMing and trying to get you to spend money. We are legitimately trying to just help you. The only way, and this is a red flag that I want to bring up too. The only way you can book a reading with me or Nicole is through our professional websites, right? We don't ask you to send Cash App. We don't ask you to send Venmo. We don't ask you to send through payment apps randomly on social media. We have professional websites, professional scheduling software. So red flag to be aware of. One, professional legitimate mediums will never DM you and tell you they have a message for you. Two, they'll have a scheduling software, right? They're not going to ask you to send to Cash App, right? Or these payment apps where you have no way of getting a refund. You have no way of getting your money back. So red flags, never DM you, and the payment apps, right? The payment apps.
Right.
You want to be able to protect yourself, right?
Yes. And my favorite, grand rising.
Okay.
And it is sad because, yes, you and I have talked about this many times on our lives over the years, and not everybody has heard that message, and if somebody does say, okay, send it to this app, and you got to look at the name on the app, because I had a lady who was scammed by somebody who was faking my page, and the name on the app was a completely different name, not even close to my name. And I Googled that. It was the real person's name. I Googled her name, and she had a rap sheet. And so pay close attention. Don't answer those DMs, delete and block those people. Or if it's somebody copying someone's page that's legit, send us an email, because we both have emails. You can send through our website or directly to our emails and check. Or anybody else who's copying send a message.
So another, I'll say I was out there researching today, doing some research, and another red flag I would say is that social media readers, I'll call them, I found are very into their ego and talking about how great and accurate they are and how spot on they are and how, others are jealous of them. Just these things, please. What's the number one thing we learn in mediumship development is your ego's out the door. You check your ego out the door.
Yes.
So when I see that, it's hard for me, because this is not about being famous. This is not about how many followers I can get. Mediumship is not about any of that. It's about helping people, and it's about healing. And it really bothers me when I see that on these social media sites, because we've put in that work, right? We've put in that work to make sure we are not doing harm, right?
And I agree with that completely. And I would say that if you are thinking about booking a reading with a medium and I would email them. You can ask them for references. You can ask to watch videotapes of their readings. There are a number of ways that you can make sure that the medium is not some lunatic. If they have very little social media presence, if they don't have a website, not that somebody can't be legit without a website. I'm just saying, if you're getting DMs from somebody, if they don't have a very long history of social media, if they're following 8,000 people and have 3 followers and they started their page today, that's a huge red flag. And there are a lot of copycats, lots and lots and lots. And no real medium who's been trained and developed will say, I'm 100% accurate. It's just not possible. Nobody ever can be 100% accurate. We all have a day where the connection's just not there, or the connection's just not strong, or your dog starts barking in the background, or the garbage man makes a big noise outside your office window, or it's thundering and lightning and your electricity flashes. I mean, anything could happen. Or somebody called you 5 minutes before the reading with bad news. Or it just wasn't your day. You just couldn't connect, right? Like there's any number of human things that can happen that cause a medium not to be 100% accurate. Now, some readings, it's like boom, 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 message, 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 evidence, evidence, evidence. And some readings, it's like, oh, please, spirit, please give me something. They're not all the same. And so if it, and it is not about being famous, it is not about being the greatest, it's about helping people heal, period, dot, end of story. It's not about the medium, it's about the client and spirit. That's it.
I love this comment here because I want to talk about a little bit about cold and hot reading. You see that comment? Viv Wu?
People put their whole life on social media. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when people put their whole lives on social media, that's great. But you open the door for what's called hot reading. And that's where a psychic medium or a psychic medium can go research and just look at your social media and just tell you the things that they see on the medium. Now, the opposite of that, or what they see on your page, the opposite of that is cold reading. And this seems to be more of what I found, especially today, kind of just scrolling through, because once you, if you know, especially on TikTok, once you follow one, your whole feed is like full of them, right?
Right.
So cold reading is when the medium or the psychic medium gets you to tell them information and then they just go off of that, right? And that's what I saw a lot of today. So it's really important. So that's a red flag, right? It's also really important when you do get readings that you try not to say too much, right? Because, and I always say to my clients, I want you to feel like you're having a conversation. So if I give you the information and you want to elaborate on what I've given you, that's great. Because I want you to feel like we're having a conversation and a dialogue. But please don't give me any new information because I want you to know it's coming from your loved one in spirit and not from you.
And exactly. And on that note, I have been told by some clients that they've had readings with other mediums that send them a questionnaire ahead of time. And I've also heard that in some of these gallery style in-person readings and online readings that they send out questionnaires ahead of time. So if you go to any gallery style reading in person or online or order a reading and somebody sends you questions ahead of time, cancel and get a refund immediately, because that's not the point to tell them everything ahead of time, because then how do you know that it's legit? It's not. You shouldn't be giving any information ahead of time. Now, if you want to go to a medium and you desperately want to talk to, Uncle Bob, let's say, and it's just so important, you can tell the medium up front, I would like to talk to Uncle Bob. And most mediums will be fine if you say you want to dial up, or there's another term for it.
I call it direct.
Direct. They will be fine with that. And honestly, a direct or dial up reading is a lot easier for us because the person usually just pops right in most of the time. But most of the time we don't want to know. No. We don't even need to know your real name. We don't need to know anything about you. And honestly, it's easier the less I know, it's easier. Because when you start to know things ahead of time, it kind of clouds your brain a little and you start, am I making this part up? So
that's when the medium gets in their human brain. Yeah.
Exactly.
Debbie has a comment, and if you want to pin that, I don't know if I'm seeing all the comments, but
a lot of times the person being read has not prepared themselves for spirit, which can impede the medium from being able to connect to their loved ones. Is that the right comment?
Yeah. So I want to say that for me, that's not true. And I don't know. There's this thing that maybe some mediums could be grooming their sitters, like, if, like putting the blame on you. Like, if you're not open, if you're not this, if you're not that, instead of the medium saying those things, I always just like to say, we're just going to open it up and see what happens. We're going to open it up and see what happens. 99.99% of the time, it works. Right?
Yeah.
I never guarantee anything, but I never want to blame my sitter or the person coming to me say it's your energy that's not making this connection. And I think that might be a red flag to look for if you are sitting in front of somebody that says, you are not allowing me to connect. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. I think that I have seen this on social media. I've heard clients tell me that this happened to them in other readings. It's, there is a way that if you're so closed off, I had an experience once with a sitter who was yelling questions at me immediately when the reading started, because I don't think the sitter understood how readings work. This was a reading someone else had booked for this person, so they didn't get the information like be open, be ready, take some deep breaths, be free of expectations. There's no guarantees, because my website sends out an automated email, and then I always send a separate email, which probably goes to junk most of the time, but it's got all the information. And so sometimes people don't know what to expect. They don't understand how mediumship works, and that's okay. And you can have an energetic block, and you can have psychic amnesia, which I know Kathy will agree with me on this. You get somebody who says, no, 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 no. And then at the end of the reading, they're like, oh yeah, that purple elephant is sitting right there on my dresser that you just mentioned, right? I just forgot about it. And so that's not the person's fault. That's just because they're excited. So it's never, it's usually energy. If things get weird, it's the medium's energy. And if the person is emotionally blocked, they may say no because they aren't open, but that doesn't mean that it's their fault if the connection wasn't there. Right. The connection's there. It's just the human is sometimes not available.
And I do think that grief plays a part. And when we are really deep in grief, sometimes it's hard to accept and hear the things that are coming through. But I would never sit and say, I am right, you are wrong, it's your fault. So if you ever see a medium, or if you're sitting in front of a medium and they're telling you it's your fault, at that point, if I'm not making a connection, it's my fault. And I'll say, you know what, we need to reschedule. I can refund you, right? It's never my sitter's or my client's fault.
Right. And so like today, one of the readings I did, the person in spirit hadn't passed that long ago, and I was just not, in the right headspace myself. So I did the reading. It was okay, but it wasn't great. So I offered a free reading in 3 months, right? You don't want to do it the next week or 2 weeks later. I like to leave some time and space. And then, so I always, when I screw up, I always offer a free reading or some kind of compensation. It's just the right thing to do. you know, because I know sometimes I'm just not perfect. Let's see. Hi, Parlous. Donna said the funniest psychic party I went to, I was the last sitter.
Ooh.
I talked to Donna.
I think there's a story there.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, me and Donna, I was talking to her earlier and she was telling me some stories. Lee said, Nick and Kathy, you both are so thoughtful and invested in helping. I had readings from both of you and I really value your abilities and your ethical priorities. That is so kind and wonderful to hear, because sometimes we feel like we may be screaming into the void, and we're, you know, some days it's, you know, the full moon is coming Sunday, the blue moon. So hopefully the second chances will be for everyone, because it's hitting that and I'm a Sagittarius and it's a full moon in Sagittarius and it's hitting hard. So Carol said, I have seen on YouTube a woman who calls herself Nick the Certified Medium. Is that a different person? Or is that a copycat, Carol? So I'd like to know more about that. Send us the link.
Can I just comment on who was the last one, saying about how ethics are important. I just want everybody to also know that if you are watching a medium, considering a medium, looking for a medium, know that mediumship readings are always supposed to leave you feeling better than when you came in to the session, okay? Mediumship readings are supposed to be hopeful, helpful, and healing. So some of these readers I was watching today were presenting gory details. Spirit has never given me or shown me a gory detail. This was this reader's way of gaining followers and being theatrical. Spirit does not want to show you any gory details. Spirit wants you to feel, right, that you are being helped. That is not helpful. So if you're in a reading and you're not feeling these things, right, speak up. Speak up. When you're watching or trying to vet a medium, if they're saying these things that are irrelevant,
or negative.
Yes, negative.
Can we all collectively send the real Lucifer Morning Star some love? Because whoever this is typing this, we're going to transmute this negative energy into positivity for this.
How to spot fakes, look in the mirror as you are all fake asshole beings.
So we're going to send love.
What a beautiful message.
Love. I hope whatever is ailing you is healing you, because you are now banned.
That was a beautiful message. You know, and I don't know why some people feel the need to be negative, but that's okay. That's okay.
Hate is a cry for love.
Yeah, that's okay.
And that's why we're all in this crazy world together.
Yeah, together.
Everything. Angie has a great question. And thank you, Missy Birdie Mom. She said, just get your readings from Nick or Kathy, then there are no worries. Thank you very much.
That's nice. But there are other mediums out there. And
yes, that are good.
Yes.
Right. And if you want recommendations, we both have tons of mediumship colleagues we can recommend that we trust and that are legit. Angie said, when you read someone more than once, are you ever worried about repeating information? I will say my memory is so bad that if I do repeat information, if I have a client that I've had several times, I will say, I apologize if I'm repeating information. And people may have a hard time believing that I'm not going to remember what I said last time, because we both do lots of readings and there's just no way we can possibly hold all that information in our head. And so most of the time, people who schedule readings over, several times, it's several months apart. And so they're in a different place.
Mhm.
The information is mostly usually different. And anything that is repeated is usually something minor in my experience. What do you say, Kathy?
Well, so I'll say that maybe repeated information for me, and right, we do thousands of readings, right? You can't remember every detail of every reading. And a lot of times I do remember some things. I mean, there are some things that I do remember if it's very, if it hits me.
Right.
But what the things that may be repeated are just things like maybe a personality, because we're connecting.
Mm-hmm.
And when I connect to personality, like first and foremost is like what the first thing I feel is their personality. So that could be repeated, yes, because they want you to feel them and that they're here. But they will give you different information because time has passed and they've seen different things and they've witnessed different things, and they'll show you what's happening now. So repeated things can come up, but I never worry about it because I trust spirit. I just give it to spirit.
Let's see. Donna's telling a story about her wild conversations after her readings. Jennifer said, that's how Kathy's reading left me on Mother's Day. Thank you. So yes, with a feeling of peace and healing. And that's, if you leave a reading and you feel worse, and I don't mean in grief, I mean just like they told me horrible, negative, terrible things and left me kind of hanging.
Or confused.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times, and I know Kathy and I have talked about this before, where we stay on extra time just to help maybe manage the situation a little better. Because sometimes we don't know how long ago your loved one passed away. If you lost a child last week and you're booking a reading, you probably should wait. You should probably wait because you're in deep grief. You're in shock, and it's probably not the time. But we don't know that when you book the reading unless you tell us. And so you may be not in a good place during the reading, and then you tell us at the end, and it's like, oh, maybe we should have a little. We're not therapists, we're not doctors, but we always recommend in a situation like that, grief counseling, maybe some therapy, find a grief group or something like that. But you should feel better, not worse at the end. And most of the time, people feel better. Let's see. So I saw something. They don't respect mediums, need to protect themselves. That's true. We do need to protect ourselves, and we need to have boundaries, ethical, emotional, and spiritual boundaries. Surf Mom said, you have truly changed my life and thought processes. We appreciate that very, very, very much. Ellen said, thank you for saying that about negativity, as I had a reading once and there was upsetting things told to me. It was traumatizing. And I will say to this, if the medium is well-trained and ethical, and I know we've been saying that a lot, but it's important, they will know how to manage a message from someone that is for healing. An example, I was giving a live reading, and I think me and Kathy were on the live together. This was probably 4 years ago. And the woman's uncle, who was a very bad man, came through. He had the white suit on. I don't know if you
remember.
Well, I offered to give that woman a free reading off the live. He was a very bad person, and he came in to apologize for his behavior and acknowledge his behavior. And that's very different than telling this woman, oh, he did this and this and this and this, and just leaving her hanging with all of this trauma. You should be able to say he's apologizing for his behavior. You don't have to remain connected with this connection. He just wants to know you to know this is him, and here's the evidence that this is him. He's apologizing. He knows how much it hurt you, and he, hopes you can convert that trauma into something positive, something positive.
Healing for her, something
Yes.
that she needed to heal.
Exactly.
And I will say, Ellen, mediums that are truly, truly connected to your loved ones in spirit, your loved ones in spirit are never going to give us information to give to you that's traumatizing. So the information that you got that was traumatizing was from that reader, their own perception, their own mind. I have never, I do have to say this because I was watching so many different mediums today, and I will say all on TikTok, that it's really a lot of show, for gifts, for
Yes.
spectacle, it's not about the connection. So red flag is there. It's not about gifting. It's not about a show. It's not about a spectacle. It's not about re-traumatizing you. It's not about talking about how they left this physical world. In my readings, they will tell me, I left the physical world in an unexpected way. I left the physical world. I was sick. They will not go on and on and on for you to relive those memories. They want you to remember the fun, to remember the good, to feel at peace, and to know that they're not suffering. When you see these mediums talking about this over and over, it's for
Clicks,
views, clicks, likes, and I have to say, just because somebody slaps on this, I'm a psychic medium, doesn't mean they are. It means, sometimes it just means they're looking for a fast way to make money. I saw that a lot today.
right. And it can be a fast way to make money, but it can be a very unhealthy way to get a reading. And there is a person on TikTok, and I rarely ever go on there anymore. I just go there to download my own videos mostly and edit. But this person makes a killing on there. He has hundreds of people on there, and they are just booking and booking and booking. He's very boisterous and dramatic and just not ethical, in my opinion. Not sure if he ever really got trained completely. So if it's more of a show, it's probably not the best place to get a reading. And if you want a real reading, book a private reading. And most mediums have mini readings that are not that expensive. I know we both offer mini readings that are not that expensive.
And we offer, and I know I do, and you do too, but a free mini demonstration or free demonstrations where you can come see us work. And it's very important to also click with your medium, to feel like you connect with them. These mediums on these social media platforms, that if they have 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, it's just like when I say famous doesn't equal better.
Yes.
Followers doesn't equal better.
Right. You can have 50 followers and be incredible. And Kathy and I both have readings recorded on the Helping Parents Heal YouTube page and I have some old live readings somewhere on my YouTube page. I haven't done mediumship readings live in a very long time, but we both have Helping Parents Heal readings in a gallery style that you can go to their YouTube page and watch. So, you can see how we work if you're new to us. Surf Mom said, Lori said, so then you never save the notes that you take during the reading. When I first started, because I was a teacher for 20 years, I'm a spreadsheet person. I used to type notes after every reading, and I just could not keep up with that anymore. And I have scribbled notes. That's what my notes look like after my. This is literally what my notes look like now, and so
Yeah.
I couldn't even make heads or tails of this if I tried. So
Yeah. Then I actually, after this notebook gets filled with this, it goes in the garbage.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I have notes, but
No,
I don't think I could get much from them.
yeah, decipher them.
Yeah.
So
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I don't keep my notebooks. It's just really for me, the notebooks are a tool for connecting, right? It's just to kind of ground me back into like, all right, this connection.
Yeah. And then Surf Mom said, you truly changed my life and opened my eyes to the universe. My son also has had his eyes open to the unknown. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then Parlis is talking about siblings and said grief groups are good for some. Yeah, they're not for everybody. That's true.
Right, just a tool, right? It's another tool in your grief box or your grief journey, right?
And then Diana said, or they can draw your person of interest. And what I think she's talking about, and I see these ads all the time, is they draw your soulmate.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just no to that. I'm not even going to elaborate on that. Just no. If somebody tells you they're going to give you a love reading or a soulmate reading, listen, we all have free will. And that's why I never do absolute psychic readings. I am a psychic person, but I don't ever do absolute psychic readings, especially for relationships. The red flag. If you're asking about if your relationship's going to be successful, you got some red flags.
Right.
Everybody has some red flags. If you've been married long enough, but it's how red are the flags?
Yeah. And the simple, the blanket, like Dr. Phil answer is, if you have to ask the question, there's your answer.
Right. And I was talking
common sense kind of, right?
Right. And I was talking to someone because the most common question I get when I do Q&A is, will so-and-so take me back? And I always want to say, don't go back. That's what I want to say. I feel compelled to say, if you're broken up, don't go back. There's a reason you're broken up. But I always say, get your education, get your money, get your house, take care of yourself, be independent, da, 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 da. But I always want to say, don't go back. So.
But there's another red flag. If you are going to these pages, and maybe just not a red flag, but just take it with a grain of salt, right?
Right.
If you want to ask those questions, right, go ahead. Take it with a grain of salt. Here's another thing. Psychics, mediums, let me say this. Psychic mediums on these platforms should never be diagnosing people, should never be giving medical advice, should never be giving legal advice, okay? If they are, take it with a grain of salt. You're asking somebody on the internet about your health. You are asking somebody that you do not know, right? As ethical mediums, I will never say you are diagnosed with this. I saw that yesterday. I saw a woman on TikTok claiming to be a psychic medium tell a woman she had a gene for I can't remember exactly what the disease was, but I looked it up and it was a terminal disease. She told a woman she had that disease. How devastating and how damaging is that?
Very. Now, I will say I have gotten information from Spirit for somebody to get something checked. And I will say, I'm not diagnosing anything, but it's a good idea to go get some blood work. It's a good idea to keep up with that. Maybe check that out. And I always say, it's not a diagnosis. I don't want to worry you, but go have your physical and get your blood work done. Just make
yes, this reader said, so just a little context, this sitter told the reader that her mom and her sister were diagnosed with it, and it's a genetic disease that runs in the family. So this reader says, well, do you want me to tell you? I know if you have it or not. Do you want me to tell you? I mean, I thought, oh my gosh. And I'm like, don't go there. Don't go there. And she goes, yeah, you have it. You're going to get it. And I'm so sorry. I was like, for one, this reader has no medical background, nothing.
And there's no way to prove it. There's no way.
Instead of saying, go to the doctor, get the test, don't come to a TikTok medium and ask me these,
Right.
And then, so I will say at the end of the reading, she goes, okay, well, take care and let me know if I was right. Let me know if I was right. Not, I hope you're okay. Let me know if I can send you any support groups, nothing like that. Let me know if I was right. That's
terrible.
Damaging. So red flag. Any reader that's telling or diagnosing or giving you unsolicited medical advice or,
any medical advice.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a biology undergraduate degree, and I am not going to give anybody a diagnosis of anything. Like, it's not okay. I'm not a doctor. I don't have your blood work. I don't know you. I haven't examined you. Like, that's just not okay. Telling people to get a checkup, that's one thing. Telling them they have a terminal disease and to let me know if I'm right, totally bad. And Jennifer says the ones that state, I will give a free reading when we have 100 people on the live. So share it out. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say these apps are the algorithm, we are kind of trapped by the algorithms. I'm trying to think of proper words to say, so I'm not saying terrible things.
If you want your content to be broadcast to a large number of people, you have to stay within there or.
Right, exactly. So sometimes we get kind of like, please share it, please share it, please share it, because unless we're talking about the news, we're not really getting a lot of traction. Like I can tell you my views on YouTube have gone down significantly, just rant for no reason. And other spiritual creators have been stating the same thing recently. Tarot readers, astrologers, they're all saying something happened. And so we kind of are like, our livelihood and our careers depend on social media. And so we're like, please share it. Please share it. Now, saying I will give a free reading when we have 100, that's a different thing. But I do understand asking people to share. There are a lot of comments I'm missing, blah, blah, blah. Carol said, I've heard my granddaughter, Vivi, Hazel's sister in spirit, tell her friends that she had a friend who talks to her sister for real, she says. LOL. That is so, that makes me so happy.
They're amazing.
So happy. Vivian, I love this. If you need if you need to ask someone else about finding your soulmate, you need to spend time, money, and energy on self-improvement. 100% gold star, platinum star.
Well, and this is what I'm saying, the Dr. Phil kind of feedback, right? Or advice. Like, I'm sorry if anybody loves Dr. Phil, but to me, he just says the obvious, the common sense, right?
Yeah, like my favorite line from 25 years ago, he said, no matter how flat you make a pancake, it still has two sides. That's the only thing I remember from his show. And that's the last time I watched it. So yeah, it's common sense, but we got to use our common
But
sense.
I understand the need. And here's the thing. So this is why these social media sites work, is because people want immediate gratification. They want immediate answers. So I understand why people, ask those questions, and they want to know these things. And especially when you are in grief, you want immediate answers, and these things are presented to you, right? Everything is right in front of us, in our face, and we could, so I understand the urge and need, but I caution people to investigate and research.
I agree. And Donna said she did a reading on a young girl, and Spirit said, get rid of the guy you're dating. She called and broke up right there. Well, I would guess that she had some red flags already. And if she was actually a young girl, she probably had options. Don't get too serious too young. That's what I would say. Abby said, I don't get YouTube notifications anymore. And I will tell you this. My subscribers on my YouTube channel just randomly disappear, and I'm not complaining necessarily, but I have several other YouTube creators that I know who are saying the same thing, that they're just, I don't know if they're clearing bots or what they're doing. So make sure to click the bell to get notified when we're going to go live, when we post new videos. My favorite creators, I always click the bell so I can see their content, because I have certain ones I watch regularly. So yeah. And on Instagram, there's a couple of creators I follow all the time, and their stuff never, ever pops up on my page anymore. I have to go to their page. So, Diana said, I know two true mediums only trust you both. And we appreciate that. But we are not the only trustworthy.
Yeah, we're not the only, we're not the only, we're just trying to show you and educate you on what to look for. And on that note, I will say, in my scrolling around today, pay attention to appearance, and pay attention to their surroundings. If they're in a car doing readings, if they're in a restaurant doing readings, if they're in a shed doing readings, these might not be legitimately the ones you want to connect with. Unless, of course, pay attention to what they're wearing, how they present themselves, their language, how they speak, if they're swearing or being derogatory. I can't even tell you. It's wild out there.
It is wild. And we have seen some stuff on social media. I think there was a lady who was on something for a while on TikTok, kind of passing out in the middle of readings, and yeah, it's crazy. I was going to say something else. Just make sure they're professional, right? You want a professional, somebody who presents themselves professionally, not half asleep, not in the garage,
eating,
smoking. It's none of that.
Distracted with children running around. I saw it all today. It was quite interesting. And I'm going to do some research, and wow.
Yeah, I want to make a recommendation to people who book readings. One of the most common things I get, and it's not all the time, but one of the weird things that happens is people will be driving when they are ready for their Zoom reading. And I am not going to give a reading to somebody who's driving or in their car full of other people. And those things have happened to me more than once. You have to be and I have that in my email, be in a quiet place free of distractions. Now, I understand if you're a mother with a young child, absolutely no problem. No problem. If you have dogs or cats, no problem. None at all. If you're driving, that's a no for me. You must pull over, and that is your time, because I have, like Kathy, we have appointments after appointments. I can't wait 15 minutes for you to pull over and then start your reading. If it takes you that long, that counts as your time. So, um, so that it just, some of the things we see.
Yeah. So, before we end today, two questions I have for you and for people that are watching is, one, would you be interested in if Nicole and I maybe did a series and we talked about more red flags, because there are a lot.
Yeah, I didn't even get to my list. I think
Yeah.
I said one or two things. We both have a long list.
And two, I would love to hear people's stories, because I understand too that there are people out there that have had bad experiences or have had, right, been re-traumatized. I will say that some of the things that I watched today, I felt like people were getting re-traumatized.
I agree.
And I'd love to hear those stories. And one other thing that I want to say is that I was watching a reader today, and they kept saying, oh, he was this, he was that, he was this, and what was his name, or what his, and I want you to know that your loved ones are not past tense. Your loved ones are present tense, because they are around you. Their soul, their essence, their energy are all around you all the time. They are not past tense. And it was really upsetting to me to keep hearing this reader talk about their loved ones in past tense, because just because their physical body is not present in this physical world doesn't mean their energy doesn't exist. And I know Nicole will agree with that, because science proves that.
I was going to mention, I just earlier today was watching a podcast about how we're all connected through the universe, through quantum physics, and how, and just briefly, while the yeses are coming through for the series question, everything in the universe started in one tiny little place and was all interconnected. So that means every atom in our body is interconnected with something else somewhere in the universe. And quantum mechanics says what affects one affects the other instantaneously. And that's how mediumship works. And that's how love works. And love is the highest vibration. And love is what allows us to connect, in my belief, because without the highest frequency, we wouldn't be able to connect. So we got a lot of yeses to the series. Definitely, this has been so interesting. Would like to hope for that. A series would be great, as well as an open gallery for us to share experiences. Yes, and we can add people on the gallery.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so we can add, I don't remember how many people I can add, but I can add several people on here. And so, yes, so we will plan for that. We will pick a date, watch our, and Brittany said yes, and Jennifer said yes. Yes from Diana, yes from Vivian. A girl who loves penguins said, this has been so interesting, definitely. And so we will plan a date and time, and then we will ask on our social media for people who want to share a story. Now, everybody can't share at one time, so we'll pick a few people. And Sandy says, yes. Hi, Sandy.
I see so many familiar faces. I love it.
Both gallery and
familiar names.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love it. I'm so glad we're back on here together. We'll pick a date. We will get organized. And thank you, Mangled, so much. Thank you. I am thrilled with all the comments.
Before we end, can I just ask if anybody has a quick question? Because I know, we talked a lot and we didn't get to answer and there are so many red flags. But I would just like to, if we could take a couple of minutes just to answer any questions that everybody has before they log off.
It's Friday night. I can stay up till 10:30 tonight.
Woo! I don't have a hockey game tonight. So
I know. I was going to ask about the hockey, and there's no basketball on tonight, I don't think. So I don't know. We're waiting for football season to start. We're not gonna do cards tonight.
Do you have any questions about what to look for, or have you seen something that maybe you have a question about? Like, is this questionable? Oh, your mod's got another mod gig.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jack, so much, honey. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. So I will say, when a red flag, while we wait for the comments to load, a red flag is when you're getting a reading or somebody's offering you a reading and then they're like, yeah, but you got this evil spirit and now we need $500 more. So no, that's a no. And there's a funny scene in Friends, if anybody here watched Friends, where Phoebe went to her psychic and her psychic told her something, and she was supposed to give her her psychic told her she was going to die this week or something. And they asked, well, when or what or something. She goes, I don't know. She wanted another $20 for that. And then the psychic died. So yeah. Let's see. Love and light. Thank you, Abby. Okay. So I guess no questions, but we will organize and you will hear from both, but that's why I only trust two of you.
No, you can trust more people.
Right. We can recommend, if you want somebody else, we can both recommend people. All right, Kathy, this has been absolutely fabulous. We love you guys. Thank you so much for all the comments, likes, and shares. So appreciated. Email either one of us if you have any questions or ideas or stories about something that happened to you or someone you love, because we're going to have another show.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Sylvia's there. Hi, Sylvia. Hi. Bye, everybody.